the proposal for adaptation of NCERT textbooks based on certain modifications in certain subjects will be done by MBOSE from now on, and this decision has been taken. And by that I mean, in the coming academic year, the process is going to start, and we will see this adaptation taking place as we move forward. But immediately, the cabinet decision that has been taken today is to allow the adaptation of the NCERT textbooks with necessary modifications from class 1 to class 10. And there are certain schools that are in local language, in vernacular language, the classes are taught. For them, from class 1 to 5, the adaptation or the necessary changes in the language will be done. And once the translation and language is done, then the adaptation. Let me just go into the background of why this is important. This is important because we have a concern in the overall education system. And after doing thorough research and consultation with different stakeholders at different levels in the education system, we have come to the conclusion that most of the textbooks that are being used in MBOSE, especially when it comes to these three standardized subjects, which is science, English, and mathematics, the books are not at the standards of the national level. And hence, to improve the overall quality of the textbooks, we are adopting this. That's number one. Also, number two, that in terms of the learning outcomes at the elementary stage, the textbooks that we are using currently are not in conformity with that particular aspect, and hence, to bring us in line with the learning outcomes at the national level, we are changing this textbooks. And this changing of the textbooks will also lead to a reduction in the number of textbooks being used at the different class levels. Just to give an example to you, that under the MBOSE right now for class 1, 2, and 3.
Adopting NCERT textbook, whether the government is constituting any committee on this regard?
No, there's no committee as such. As I said, the education department has already consulted different stakeholders at different levels. And in fact, this particular decision is a decision that the cabinet today, after reviewing it, felt that it should have been taken a long time back. This is a long pending decision. As I said, there are the certain subjects like English, mathematics, and science, which are very standard in nature throughout the world. And hence, the contents do not have much of local contents in them. And hence, and the examinations take place at that standard and at that level. And hence, adopting the NCERT content and the textbook, and on the basis of that content, adapting it to our contents, which will be minimum when it comes to, as I said, English and maths and science. This should have been done long time back. And as I said, just to give you an example of what it is, that in certain cases we have found that the content that is being used in class 10, books of MBOSE, those same contents are there in NCERT in class 6 itself, or in class 7 itself. So the standards of the education quality needs to be brought up, because our students need to compete at the national level. And hence, keeping all of these factors in mind, we are doing this. We also understand that it is not simple, it will be challenging, and we all have to work together. But we need to start somewhere. If we keep waiting and holding on to a decision like this, then we will never see the changes and the reforms that we wish to take and we wish to see. And hence, in apart from many other decisions and reforms that we are going to take, this is one of the first major steps. We have taken many other steps, including infrastructure developments and all. But in terms of our content, the quality, and the different aspects of education, the soft aspects, we are making sure that we take this important step forward.
So what
Sir,
about science
sir-
and maths being made a compulsory subject? Has that also been taken?
No, that's not been taken up today. That is, in fact, as I said, today we are going in a phase-wise manner. We will examine all these aspects in the days to come. As I said, today was simply to say that in these subjects, the content now will be based on the NCERT textbooks.
Sir,
is
you
this,
mentioned about the
First phase from class 1 to class 10, subjects of English, mathematics, and science. These three subjects will be based on the NCERT textbooks, and the contents, wherever required, minimum will be localized contents wherever it's required, because as I said, these three subjects don't require so much of localized contents. At the same, so that will be in the first phase. And as we move along, we also know that in class 1 to 5, there are schools that are teaching in local language. And hence, we need to translate those books, which may take time. So, wherever possible in the first phase, and if not, then the second phase, those schools which are teaching in local language, science, mathematics, and English will be then translated and it will come into effect. At the same time, there are subjects like social science, which also we felt required us to adopt the NCERT textbook norms and contents, because there are a lot of information that is, examinations are held at the national level, competitive exams, where the contents of the NCERT are very, very relevant. But at the same time, we also feel that there are a lot of local contents that need to be put in the right place. So we will adapt those, we will discuss those matters, include them, and then as and when we are ready, we will introduce that also. So that's what I mean. When I say phase, means which class or which subject. It'll all depend, as I said, on how fast we can move ahead with the translations, how fast we can move ahead with the local content that we wish to put in.
Sir, one related question to this.
Such that in English and mathematics and science, we don't see much of modification, and even if it is, there will be very mild modifications. I mean, simple things like, rather than saying NCERT, we may say MBOSE. So that's all. So it's not going to be a major, maybe just nomenclature, or just basically just the just basic aspects and thing. But the content doesn't look like it'll require too much of the changes. Calculus is calculus, whether you do it in CRT or whether you do it in MBOSE. It's the same process. So therefore, we don't see